Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to episode 3, I think, of my favourite tanks. And this time I've actually picked a different era and a completely different class as well. Well, no, I say that the first two were a medium and heavy. I've now got a light tank, but this one is in a different era. The first two were both era 2, and I said I would be doing this on each era, but right now I'm just bringing you tanks that I love playing. So I'm not going to stick to any kind of particular order with eras. I'm just telling you the things that I love. So this is the FV107. Cheeky nudge there from the enemy 107, who did a nice barrel roll. Hey, props to you, man. So this this is the top British light tank for era 1, and it's, you know, it's got a bit of a reputation for being a pain in the backside. And while that can be true, in this video I'm going to talk to you about how to play this thing and also how to play against this thing, because this thing isn't unstoppable and there are certain tanks that you just can't fight. This tank isn't as bad as the 101. The 101 is certainly more limited because it's high explosive only, but this tank is also somewhat limited to what it can and can't engage. So before we get into that, I'm going to talk about why I love the 107. I have an affinity with enjoying sneaky style gameplay in any video game. It doesn't matter what the game is. I like the concealment characters. So if I'm playing, you know, a first person shooter, I would typically pick the more reconnaissance class, you know, the snipers, as you might know them. And that's just me. I just like that. I like the idea of being concealed, sneaky, and not seen, because that kind of suits my thinking. You know, I like to have the time to think a little bit more about where I'm going to go or what I'm going to do, and I like to use the camouflage factors of whatever video game I'm playing to pull off flanks, to go around the edges, to go places that most people wouldn't normally go. And that is why I like the 107. It suits what I enjoy, more so than any other light tank in era 1. There are others that are good. The 101 is certainly very good. The Bulldog is also very, very good. But it, you know, it just doesn't click with me the same way the 107 does. The other reason I'm particularly proud of my 107 is because I 3-marked it before it got buffed. So prior to the buff, each round would do an average of 25 alpha. I think it's now 40. And I 3-marked it before the buff. I 3-marked it when it was underperforming. And I am just proud of the fact that I pulled that off. There you go. That's it. Alright, so let's talk about how to play against this thing first of all. Well, as you can see from this gameplay, the tanks that I'm taking out are the ones that are, first of all, distracted and not aware of their surroundings, and they're sitting out in the open. Now, admittedly, this is Live Oaks. This is an open map. This map does favour light tanks, but there are things you can do to prevent what I'm doing to these guys. So there was a 4005 sitting, admittedly, behind cover, but in the open. And there was a Turan, I think it was a Turan 4 doing the same thing, and there was something, I can't remember. I've got 3 kills. I can't remember what the other one was. But essentially, they were playing exactly the way I want you to play if I'm going to have the advantage. I want you to sit out in the open with no cover, because that means I have free reign of the space to loop around you and do whatever I want to do. That's basically it. I want to have the space to control the engagement. So if you want to if you want to play the 107, play it to its strengths. And he's going for a dip. I think he makes it out. Does he make it out? Yeah, he does. If you want to counter the 107, you need to play against its strengths. This thing needs to get around the sides and the rear of tanks. So play your tank in a manner that means that can't happen. Play around cover, play corridors. And on live oaks, if you don't want to be swarmed by a light tank going round and round in circles around you, head straight for the town, or head for this side of the map where you can. I can run circles around these tanks, but it's a lot harder because there's a lot of undulation in the topography. And one thing I am famous for, and it's probably not just me, is the bad driving series of shorts that I've got. And you'll notice that 95% of them are in this tank. That is because this thing does not handle very well on undulating topography. It will topple over and you'll kill yourself. So if you want to counter the 107, play around cover. Play around rocks, wrecks, whatever it might be. Play in a way that means that this thing cannot get the better of you. And that also means don't drive out into the open like this guy. What this guy should have done is stay reverse to the boundary, or try to make an effort to make the life of a 107 driver as difficult as possible. And if you want to play the 107, play it cautiously and take advantage of the open spaces that you have. So there we go. There's a Top Gun, 3,599 damage, and I think we got an incredible amount of assists. Yeah, 7,000. So this is an over 10k combined game, and we get the Top Gun holding on to the 3 mark there. So there you go, guys. That is the FV107. That is one of, well, it is my most played tank. It is my favorite tank in the game. I absolutely love this thing. And I've passed on a little bit of knowledge on how to play it and how to counter it. I haven't gone into great detail. If you do want detail on how to counter these things, because they can be a bit of a pest in a platoon, I can do a video on that. So let me know in the comments below. Alright guys, that's all I've got for this video. If you've enjoyed it, please leave it a like. If not, a dislike. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one.